Yeah, even if you're a high performance individual in your career, but you're no longer appreciated, you see an end to that career. You see a dead end, and you want to transition because you hear this is a great career. You're going to deal with the same obstacles. You're just dealing with them emotionally at a different income level. And now you're trying to transition into this, and you think you're going to make $20,000 in your first month. Like, let's have a real conversation with someone who's been building the business, someone who's been full-time active in the business, someone who's making that money, someone who's got a system. Plug into that system, get yourself some real expectations, set up a game plan, follow that game plan, don't get shiny object syndrome, and put in the work. I mean, there's no other way around it, really.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Life Insurance Academy podcast. I'm here with my good buddies Roger Short and Zach Mac Attack.
You're back.
I'm going to change your name to Mac Attack.
You're back.
Can I legally change somebody else's name?
You're Chris Ball. You could probably do whatever you want, to be honest.
You've got influence, man.
I am back, and guys, that thumbnail, the thumbnail image that's on YouTube,
Which
of me
image?
of the last podcast where you guys talked about me being a smoke show.
Do you think that's sexy?
My wife can't stop staring at it.
Well, it's because you put 3 copies on your nightstand.
That's right.
Dude, when you get them printed
Everywhere
in
she looks,
poster
it's like
size,
a horror film. Ooh, I almost knocked I got excited. Just cut that out. I always like to tell Adam to cut things out of the podcast.
No cutting.
Just pure energy.
When you have poster size images of your head
can you
in your
imagine
bedroom
that?
when your wife walks in,
That's
it does scare her.
terrifying. Yes, I would agree.
So she
with
opens
you.
the closet door. It's a big poster.
Of you looking at her.
Just
You
like
get a
that.
cardboard
Oh,
cutout,
that
put it in the
look.
passenger seat of her car.
See,
I don't even know the look. Is there one eyebrow?
See, this is how it works, though, guys. When you jokingly make a face, that becomes a thumbnail image on YouTube. You think it's innocent, like there's nothing going on, but Adam's capturing
You
everything.
knew what you did.
Adam's capturing
You
everything.
knew what you did when you did it.
I don't agree with that.
You did.
All
What
right,
are we talking about, man?
let's talk about this. If I were a new agent and I'm getting started, can I start my business in life insurance sales with $100? If I only have $100, can I do it? Can an
You only
agent
have
be
$100
successful?
to your name?
Yeah.
Like you
Well,
don't have a job, nothing? Nothing?
Yeah, let's say, okay, well,
Do I at least have a full tank of gas and
You
pay
have a
my
full
cell phone service for at least
Yes.
1 month?
you got 2
Like,
months.
what are
of-
the
two-
pre-qualifiers?
Gosh, this guy gets so specific,
Well,
doesn't it?
I mean, you're down. Like I'm picturing myself on the street with $100 in my pocket, and I
Your
don't
cell
have a
phone
phone
bill's
or a
paid.
car.
You borrowed some money from Rose to get your gas tank filled. Okay. Full tank, cell phone's paid. You have $100. Can you do it?
I
Why
don't know how
can't,
much is-
you just have a regular job, regular career, but you're paycheck to paycheck, and you have no additional funds to learn something new?
Yeah, that's great.
That's different.
That's
than what
like
you said.
America. That's what.
That's different than what you said.
He's doing the TV show. What was it? Undercover Billionaire.
Yeah,
I
you get
know, we
you get
start
a
with
truck, you get
$100.
$100.
Well, you didn't even
Can
start
do
with
it?
a truck. Well, you just said that's it.
You just have $100. You just got out of jail. You have $100. Can you sell life? I'm just kidding.
Nope.
No, we'll go with your
Nope,
scenario.
you can't.
no, it's a short episode. See you
Well,
guys.
first you
We
got
had
to
a
get
good
your.
one.
How much is your state license?
Depends, but
Yeah.
there's a bunch of different fees,
Like
background
50
fees.
to 100.
Yeah.
Okay, so there goes your 100. What?
It's too specific, man.
I'm just saying your 100's gone. Now what?
It doesn't have to be that, because this is the dilemma that a lot of agents are in, or potential agents.
how
or-
they feel,
or
that's
people
for
are
sure.
looking at it are in right now, and that doesn't mean Chris just introduced me to life insurance. I have $100. Let's roll. It will most likely be a conversation and a plan to move forward. Okay, what do I need to accomplish now without upsetting my current career, current job, to be able to move into life insurance? So obviously, $100, a cell phone plan for a month, and a full tank of gas. Probably, I would say, you're not ready. You're not ready. Let's take
Well,
a step.
$100 2
It was a
years.
great episode. We'll see you next time on the Life Insurance Academy.
Exactly.
podcast.
Like, you need to stay at your job for a little while longer, and we need to know what a transition would look like.
I don't believe that.
What do you mean you don't?
I don't believe it. I think you can.
I think you can too.
Yeah.
You just got to
Because
go
here's
for
the
it.
deal.
All right,
You are-
tell me, because
You're a
I
life
don't think
insurance.
I don't think you can.
You've got your license. You've got your life insurance agent.
So now you already have your license.
Yes, that's what I was assuming
Okay.
that from the start. Of
Like
this.
framing is important here. The framing's important.
Yes, the framing.
Framing is
We
important.
haven't licensed. He got his license.
Now,
He worked
you're
hard.
going to tell me that they already have all their contracts through and everything, and now
Sure.
they're ready. See, that's the whole point, because that takes time. That's a transition. That could be 3
Okay.
weeks minimum
All right.
to be ready to be rolling. And if you don't have a job and you have $100,
Right.
you're dead in the water because those bills are coming.
You can mow 2 lawns, get the money for your contracting, or for your license and your fees and all that.
But I think this is important.
Worst case
This is important stuff
You
to
gotta
talk
have
about.
E&O too, so like
That's
you're
right.
underwater now.
You're borrowing money from your
E&O,
friends.
Arizona Emissions Insurance.
That's right. Yeah.
You do need some of that.
Yeah. So we'll say you have a full-time job. You're limited. You're living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
You found a way to get your licensing. I mean, we have these conversations with people.
Yeah.
You found a way to get your license, your background check, your contracting's done, your E&O, you squeaked by, and you've got it covered for a month.
And now you got $100 left.
And you have $100 left.
But that's a different.
That's so much
a
better.
different
Thank you,
frame. Right?
There we go.
All right, Zach.
That's
you
where
know
we
you
are.
can make it on that.
Well, yeah,
Can you make it on
but it's
that?
a different story because the mindset's different. And the mindset that starts with it, for one, you have
Not
a
just mindset. The whole situation is different.
It could be, but you have
It is.
you have a belief in the opportunity, which made you want to start pursuing this. But the sacrifice is going to be there, so you need your family on board to understand. But what you're sacrificing is your additional free time above and beyond your current salaried position that you're at, your corporate job or whatever, to pick up an extra side job, to start cutting extra lawns, to sell some of your hobby things that you have on eBay or whatever, to then use some of those funds to propel you forward.
You could Gary V garage sale it, baby. Like
Yeah.
you
All
can
day
do
long.
whatever
That's
you
right.
need to.
All day
That's
long,
right.
all day
Yeah.
long. And
Life and hack your way into the career.
exactly. Now at this
Right.
point, you are literally that's going to be the mindset for a period of time until you're up and rolling and confident to be able to make a full switch to where. And to be honest, this is kind of how you transitioned, right? Because you were leaving a career.
Yeah.
You kind of started part time.
I started with a Discover card.
You did. What is that?
It's a credit card.
He found a Discover card in his drawer and he just started
So
using
it's like,
it.
can I? Well, this is my magic ticket, right? So bought leads on a Discover card.
You know the most important thing
I
about
wasn't
that?
sure if I was going to be able to pay it, pay the bill.
You got
right?
a new card?
No, I had a card, but there
You
was
had a
nothing
card.
on it. Yeah, I had no credit card debt. So that was the first time I'm like, swipe, handshaking swipe.
Swipe?
Yeah, whatever.
But you're betting on yourself.
Yeah.
You're betting on yourself to give you an opportunity to go and make it up. But what does that do to you when you know you have a balance on your credit card and now you have to go to work and pay it off?
Yeah, that messes with your head. That's for sure. But I think it also puts an urgency underneath you to move forward and make something happen. I guess it depends on the person, right?
Well, I think most people that, who come into this industry, if you come in at any point past like 3 or 4 years post college, okay? So let's say you're 25 or 30 when you start. You're probably working somewhere. And most of those people have an employee mindset where they're getting paid.
Yes.
They go to work, they get paid. They go to work, they get paid. Someone pays them for their stuff. And all of a sudden you're becoming a life insurance agent and you actually have to put some money down.
It feels weird. I'm paying you to work.
Yeah.
That's what it
feels weird.
like.
Like I've got to come out of pocket to actually do something here. So that's one of the biggest obstacles is just understanding that you got to put some money in. Most businesses in America start on credit.
Yeah,
Let's just say it for what it is. Start on credit.
correct.
Or you're bootstrapping it. And even if you're bootstrapping it, it's your personal credit, like what you did with a credit card, with refinancing your house, with whatever it is. I mean, these big companies, these startups in the startup world, I'm doing this because there are so many startups
Yes.
in the startup world, and they go attract venture capital from, these people who want to invest in other potential ideas. And they say, we have a 12-month burn on cap before we need to start turning a revenue profit. Okay. What does that mean? I'm burning through other people's money
Yes.
for 12 months before I start making a profit on my own. So when you think about it, most people are running and starting a business on financed credit. What is that? So if you're going to do it at the lowest possible rate you can, but know that that's a part of an investment. You're investing in. If you go to school and you get a student loan, what are you doing? You're investing in your education. You got to pay it back, and there's an interest rate. No different for a business.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people coming into the industry try to do it, and they're never comfortable with actually putting any money against them, borrowing money for their future. You know what I mean? And financing something like that, because they try to do it with no additional credit, no credit card debt. I mean, it's a tall ask.
Yeah. And it feels like in this conversation of starting with limited funds, zero money, $100, whatever it is we're talking about, getting hands on money to invest in your business, your dream, whatever you're trying to accomplish. So different ways to do that. You say, sell stuff, sell your hobby stuff, whatever it is, have a garage sale, go mow lawns, go do whatever you can to generate these funds to
wait tables. Whatever.
Wait tables, bartend on the weekend. I mean,
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Because this is your first sale.
Uber Eats.
Because a lot of times you probably have somebody in your life that supports you a little bit or cares enough for you. A friend, a family member, a mentor, somebody at church, somebody that would give you $100 if they knew the work you're putting in, the conviction you have, and the belief in yourself and an opportunity. So the only way that works to be able to even raise fund amongst your warm market is if you're already studying your tail off, if you're already putting in the work, you're doing self-development, and they're seeing these things. Mm-hmm. And when you present what you're doing and then ask for a little of assistance to just get this much, to just get rolling a little bit, that's a different conversation than you sitting on your couch going, man, I was going to do this opportunity, but I don't really have the money. Well, how much do you need? Well, I'm not even worried about it. I'm just not going to be able to do it. That's a little different conversation than you're refusing to lose and doing everything in your power to get there.
Yeah. So on the front side of this, you're talking about we're talking about this idea of generating funds by extra activity to finance your business, whether it's, getting credit on yourself, whether it's selling stuff, whether it's doing extra work, side jobs to get that up. You're saying maybe even approaching another investor who sees what you're trying to accomplish. And I know that sounds like it's not borrowing money, it's finding an investor who will maybe help you finance what you're trying to accomplish.
This is someone who knows you, who knows what you're about. You're exactly right.
Yeah. And the other aspect of it that I guess I didn't wrap my head around on the front side of this when I first started is I am a life insurance agent. I know that seems obvious, but I am a life insurance agent that can sell life insurance. I mean, very clear.
Yes, you are, Chris.
Right. But I believe when I started, I was a final expense salesperson. You see the difference? Mm-hmm. So that means I had to wait for leads. I had to go, I'm just sitting here. I'm waiting for my leads now, So how long is that? Is that 3 weeks? Is it 4 weeks? I'm just sitting.
Depends on what kind of leads you invest in. Right.
Roger, can I get it like 10 leads? I'm borrowing leads from you, whatever. I'm just trying to get started, but not realizing a belief in my product, that, and you went back to this idea of belief, Are people seeing a change in you? Are they seeing you, that you have a dream, that you're trying to accomplish something? And now, do I believe in what I'm selling? Can I sell to other people? The thing I think we try to avoid, and you have the luxury of this if you are able to finance your dream and buy your leads and do all that stuff, is the thing we try to avoid is being the person who sells to our warm market. Like, oh man,
why?
Right?
Why?
That's a great question. I think that's, and sometimes I think that's outsold.
Yeah.
To the opportunity. You don't have to sell to your warm market. Can I? I mean, that should be the question. Yeah. Can I?
Yeah. Can I?
It's kind of strange.
I mean, there's let's break it down, because our listeners are wanting to know what are the options of me getting started with little cash.
Correct.
With little additional cash flow. We call it cash flow instead of cash, because if you're working a job, you have to have some discretionary income somewhere, or you may be just underwater and going slowly into debt on a credit card, whatever it is.
And that's a different mindset too, cash flow versus cash.
Yeah, and you are allocating money to certain things. You go out to eat. You choose to spend money on this streaming service. You choose to, you know what I mean? Like, we're like, let's be real here. We're not all living in a hole. Like, most people have a phone, $1,000 phone. Like they paid for that somehow, right? So we got to get
They
real
have more
about
streaming than cash flowing.
yeah.
Well, I think there's so many agents in this predicament right here. They believe in the life insurance opportunity. Maybe it's because of the podcast and how we talk about it all the time. But they believe in the opportunity. But why, like, where do they go? How do they get started? How do they know if I have this limited experience and opportunity, how do I find the right place? And this is what I was thinking about when you guys were talking. And the three things that I would really be going after or looking for if I'm this person ready to launch, just got my license, I'm trying to sacrifice my time and my energy, I'm trying to get some money so I can break out of this life for my family. Yeah, 100%. The first thing I would look for is an opportunity, which most of them believe there is an opportunity, but you need to find the right one for you. So really finding that opportunity, and we can dive into these if you want, or we can throw them away, whatever you want. The second one is to have a system that will fit what I need. Because I need the opportunity, and then I need a system. You do this, you do that, then you do that. It produces results. And the third one is to have a mentor. Someone who's been there, someone who's done it, someone that if I don't have confidence, I can pull the confidence from them and I can know if I'm on track or if I'm off track, or they're guiding me through this opportunity, this system with this mentor. Me as this brand new person, those are the three things I'm looking for right now.
Yeah. So let's talk about the opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah. What is for someone who's on the front side, and they have their antennas up, they do see the vision of what can be accomplished in life insurance sales. If there are limited resources for them at this point, what is the opportunity?
There's really two segues into the business. Number one, you enter as an independent agent. Independent agent, you're going to be fronting most of your own costs. You can partner with some groups where they will actually front some costs for you. But if you enter a way where the group or the IMO or the agency that you're working with to partner with for your contracts, for your mentorship, for your support for that system, if they're going to be fronting a lot of the costs, you're going to receive lower compensation. That's just how that works. You're going to receive a lower contract for the additional services, the additional investment into you and your business, right? That's a reasonable trade-off.
Yes.
It's a reasonable expectation. You can't expect, I want the highest compensation and I'm bringing nothing to the table. That's just not a reasonable expectation.
Here's one thing I want to ask you on that, Roger, because there's so many people out there trying to grow their business and recruit off of compensation, right? So when they see somebody brand new or they hit an ad, somebody's interested, and they're saying, well, don't join any of these other groups or companies, join us or me because I can give you this comp.
The highest comp.
Well, the new person doesn't have a clue what that is. They don't know what they're giving up or they're sacrificing, and that could be a great situation for them or it could be a horrible situation for them because they don't really have a system or an opportunity or even sometimes a mentor. They have a comp. Right. They have a large percent of nothing is what they have.
Yeah.
And that
high
could be
compensation without those other, without the system, without the mentorship, without the guidance, without the day-to-day support it's of no value. It's really of no value. So you can work with an organization where you're receiving some of those things at a lower compensation. That's one way you can enter the business with very little upfront money of your own. Second way you can enter the business is you can be in a captive situation where you're actually working for an agency and everything you write is paid to the agency and you are paid from that agency to you as a 1099 employee, sometimes a W-2 employee. Yep. W-2 is you're going to get a statement each week and you're going to have some benefits deducted out of there and then you get commission on top of your base. That's another way you can enter. But know that is that is not an independent status. So you're not necessarily vested in your book of business from day one. You don't own the clients. The agency owns the clients. They're fronting most of the costs. They're fronting the majority of the services. They're doing all the accounting work. They're doing all the processing. They're providing typically phones, desk space, services, a CRM, tools to manage your business, access to clients, access to carriers. They're providing all of that.
Sometimes access to older leads.
Yeah.
Little to no cost.
Correct. So it's another great way to start. But know that is a different transition into the business, but it is a way to get started. And there's a lot of people that I know that started that way. And some people have a program where they can graduate out of that and move into an independent status and then everything that they write after that becomes their book of business. It's a shared agreement between them and the agency. So it's a different type of relationship. Of course, the third way in is a full independent status where you're fronting the money yourself. So you're going to have to come up with your own financing, your credit cards, your, a personal loan, whatever. You're going to have the side hustle on jobs to fund those things so you can receive that higher compensation and lower level of support. There's typically a happy medium somewhere in there that fits most of those people. And within those scenarios, you can find a segue, an entry point into the business.
Correct.
Yeah. And I think the deciding which direction you go is a tough one out there without these conversations. I think you probably need to have a conversation with somebody who knows something in this industry.
Correct. I think that's where the third part comes in. But when you look at the opportunity there, find which one's going to fit you. But once you do, I think you to really dive into the system. And this may be an unpopular opinion, but where I have seen agents fail, all in all, there's a specific time period. I know I talk about it a lot for agents to be successful and get up and running. Not before they believe it's before they believe they can do it. It's their confidence. It's their ability in themselves that they can actually make this a career. They decide that typically within the first month. But to have a system and where agents struggle a lot is they're coming into the business and they're trying to learn 5 or 6 different sales systems at the same exact time when they're brand new, when it's on overload. Yeah. They're trying to learn how to sell Medicare. At the same time, they're learning how to sell final expense, and they're trying to figure out and mix in some mortgage protection, and then mix in some med sups, and then
annuities and everything all at once.
And they're on overloaded, and it's so broad that they can't dial into anything and get any traction. And then with that time frame ticking away, that belief and uncertainty and overwhelmness can take over, and that agent can be out.
And they never really get good at anything.
Yeah,
I call it like, so when you're first starting, in my opinion, you want to get started with little money or no money or low cash flow, like you can't have shiny object syndrome. You cannot get into that, because what ends up happening is people start, looking for a new career. So they get online. You're listening to this podcast, for instance. You're listening to this podcast today because you're searching for a way to transition from what you're doing to this career. But guess what? We're probably not the only podcast you're listening to. You're also on 2 Facebook groups. You're on another Facebook group about Medicare. You're on another one that's about final expense leads. You're on another one, like there's 3 or 4 different groups out there that you're a part of. You're masterminding with everybody that has a different opinion on everything, and it's hard for you to focus. And so you choose one path to enter, and then you have 10 other people telling you why that entry point sucks.
It will happen at every entry point.
And it happens at every entry point because the people who are not doing that rail against it because they think that way is a terrible way for you to proceed with your business. But they don't know your experience. They don't know your life circumstances. Correct. Chris, if I didn't know you when we first started, I might have pressed you to quit your job and go full-time too soon. And you wouldn't have been in the business.
Right.
I would have blown you out of the business.
Yeah.
Right? It took a relationship with us and me understanding what you're trying to accomplish with Lisa and your kids and your family and transition and your home that you bought and relocating and Lisa's job and career and all that. Like, all of it had to come into consideration. Correct. We had a relationship.
Yeah.
And out of that relationship, we formulated a plan. You stuck to the plan, and you moved full-time when you were ready.
Yeah.
That's different than listening to 8 groups and having shiny object syndrome. Well, maybe I should try to write some annuities. Maybe I should go over here and learn about Medicare. All at once. Everything's coming at you all at once. It's hard to be successful.
Do you believe, Roger, that if you mastered one of these systems, whichever one it is, I don't care which one you pick, if you mastered one of them, do you think that would make it a lot easier or harder for you to then translate and move to another one if you found a better fit for you?
No, I don't think it makes it harder. I think we make it harder on ourselves because we think once we learn this is the only way.
Right.
And sometimes people think, well, I'm good at this and nobody else can do this like me and this is all I want to do and I'm the king of this.
Yeah.
And so it may become harder, but I think that's
I think it depends on your background.
That's a personal roadblock we put up.
Regardless of which system you move into, you learn people and you learn sales and what sales is in general. The only thing is different is the specifics you're talking about, the problem that the client has and how you're actually solving their problem. That's the only thing that changes. And in my opinion, if you can come into a business knowing you are stressed out, you have paycheck to paycheck, you're giving all your extra time because you don't have a lot of extra money into learning and studying and trying to make a new opportunity work. So when you're doing that, it's imperative, in my opinion, you need to be able to survive first and get stable before then you can really thrive and start branching out and adding different products. I know we talked about that on our last episode, Roger, and the whole idea is to add more and not replace. Mm-hmm. It's the same concept. Let's get in, let's get our feet wet, let's get our belief, let's get our confidence, let's master this, let's learn how to speak to clients, how to reveal problems, how to ask questions. By the way, that goes to everything you sell. And then start seeing what you can add to your business and finding the best fit for your clientele. Yeah. It'd make it so much easier.
Yeah. I think there's the big word in all of this is expectations. You know, when managing expectations for new people who are coming in is important, you know, because they hear on the front side of this, the dream, you know, there's gold in them hills, you know, then everybody.
There is gold.
Yeah. Yeah. And then everybody's jumping in a wagon. Going out west, they didn't pack enough to make it, you know, and then they're eating each other. That's
That's another movie.
Oh my God,
that's a different movie.
How did you go there?
You watching 1886?
Maybe. Yeah.
Holy cow!
Yeah, that's what it was.
But this is perfect because really,
it's true.
The third thing, in my opinion, was having a mentor, right?
Yes.
So you talk about
a trusted mentor.
Yes. How do you manage expectations if you don't have a mentor?
Right.
Or how does that mentor role play in that?
Correct.
Because you've been a mentor for gobs of agents.
It matters because on the front side, you know, man, at the end of this year, I'm going to make $250,000, but I only have $100 to start. I can't wait. I'm going to go knock on that door. I'm going to sell something right away, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm going to pick up the phone and
everyone's saying yes.
Yes. No. You know, what is it? Like you say that first month, what is it you can expect on a limited budget?
And
a lot of no's.
Here's the thing. There's a difference in being a good mentor and a not so good mentor. And what I mean by that is you don't want a mentor and you don't want to be the mentor that just blows the smokes and keeps painting the pipe dream to the degree that you're not being real with your agent. Like, oh, you're going to make this much. Oh, you're going to make this much. And
keep buying leads.
All of a sudden,
keep buying leads.
They make they sell 2,500 in their first week, and then they're starting to lose credibility in you. Well, I thought I was going to make 25,000 a month. What's going on? Like, you have to be able to communicate the dedication, everything you need in order to build up to that level, and set the expectations of what it is to start, the things you're going to go through, the mental approach, the hardships, the wins. Because as an agent, brand new, with a little bit of money. Man, the first week you have a lot of money, Roger, I'm wanting to buy a new car. I'm trying to buy the shiny stuff. I'm paying off all my debt. I'm going through all this. I'm king of the world. Chris, at this pace, I'm probably going to make $700,000 on my own pen this year. I'm going to be the #1 life insurance agent in the world. The next week,
chargebacks.
They don't even want to show their head. They're putting on a Halloween mask because they're so embarrassed because they didn't sell anything. Now this is the worst opportunity. You lied to me. He lied to me. I can't make any money. This is horrible. Yeah. He got the good leads.
I told my spouse we were going to make it, and now for 3 weeks I haven't sold anything. Now she, you know.
And on the front side of this, even having these conversations, hey, I have a job. I'm going to stick to this for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and see how this goes. I'm going to keep my job, and then on Monday, hey, I quit.
Oh my God.
3 weeks. First of all, 3 weeks is like, no, right. I don't want to work with that person.
Right.
You're going to try this for 3 weeks? This is not for me and you. Like, that's a bad opportunity for me.
100%.
If someone came to me and said they're going to try really hard for 3 weeks, I would like, so when you're ready to try really hard for 6 to 12 months,
you got
my
attention. Give it a year.
You got my attention.
And our goal the first month is to learn as much as possible.
Yeah.
That is the goal, to master your craft that first month as hard as you can, with whatever it takes, whether it's contacting a warm market list, getting a list of seniors in the area that you can go knock on the door and introduce yourself with an unfilled out lead. I don't care what it is. Or picking up very inexpensive leads. Like, can you come up with $500?
Yeah.
Can you come up with 500 and invest in yourself and go learn as much as possible? Write 3-4 apps. Can you do that? If you do exactly what I say, you will write 5-6 apps. Go do that stuff and learn.
And if you are this agent that is starting, that is brand new, that is going through these emotional swings and emotional highs, you have to be able to ask your mentor. You have to be able to listen and receive information, not just what you want to hear, but you know you need to hear. Use their expertise. Even if your first 2 weeks you write a ton of business, right? you need to know that they've been through it. They know what's coming. It's a different. There's a seasoning that goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you're a high performance individual in your career, but you're no longer appreciated, you see an end to that career. You see a dead end. Maybe you're a 6-figure earner and you want to transition because you hear this is a great career. You're going to deal with the same obstacles. You're just dealing with them emotionally at a different income level.
Right.
Right. You got the boat payment. You might have a lake house. You might have your mortgage. Your daughter's going to college, university. She needs a car. Your other daughter is getting married. Like, lots of expenses going out the door. And now you're trying to transition into this, and you think you're going to make $20,000 in your first month. Like, let's have a real conversation with someone who's been building the business, someone who's been full-time active in the business, someone who's making that money, someone who's got a system. Plug into that system, get yourself some real expectations, set up a game plan, follow that game plan. Don't get shiny object syndrome, and put in the work. I mean, there's no other way around it, really.
There's
so
none.
Let's wrap this up. We've got 3 entry points. Number 1, you can start as an LOA, a licensed only agent, and work for an agency.
Right.
They provide most of the services. There's not going to be really any costs to you. You're going to receive a paycheck, maybe a base plus a commission, and you're going to learn the business. And you may enter in Medicare, you may enter in life insurance. It could be a variety of different options. Number 2, you come in on a low compensation program where the agency, you might be set up as an independent agent, but they're providing most of the services still. Yes, you're getting paid a 1099 from the carriers. You're getting paid directly from them. You do own your portion of the book of business, but you're receiving lower compensation because most of the services, support, lead systems are being provided by the agency or the IMO that you're a part of. That's number 2. Number 3, you're coming in as a full service independent agent, knowing that you need a good mentor group. It's going to cost you some money to get up and running. You got to set up a game plan to do that. You got to stick to it. It may be a part-time entryway in. It may be full-time, depending on your financial situation. But if you stick to the game plan and you follow that system, get good at one thing first, like Zach said, and then slowly start to diversify, I think you can be successful in that way also.
That's great. And there's conversations to pluses and minuses on each one of those entry points. And if that's you, reach out. We'd love to have a conversation with you regarding that. If you're trying to navigate this and you're like, man, that just blew my mind. It's more complicated than I heard when I heard I could make $1 million the first year by making 10 phone calls a week. Holy cow. Like, we get it. We understand. We've all been part of these conversations. If you're needing some help in unpacking that, we're glad to have that conversation with you guys. Thank you so much for being on today's episode, and we look forward to connecting with you on the next Life Insurance Academy podcast.